Trustee Reed, I have not yet heard from Julie, so perhaps we can have you start the meeting.
Matt, you're on mute.
All right, great. Let's call to order at 3:47 and reconvene to open session. There were no actions taken in closed session, so we need an attendance roll call. And Trustee Galindo, Trustee Maxfield,
Here.
Trustee Lopez Jones is absent, and Clerk Reed is here, but President Maxfield is on her way, I understand.
President Elkishin.
Great. Okay, so that brings us to Pledge of Allegiance. And Paula, are you going to put up the special screen? Perfect. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And do we have any changes to the meeting agenda?
We do not, thank you.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve and adopt the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Trustee Maxfield and seconded by Trustee Galindo. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, district mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. And that brings us to public comments. Do we have any public comments, Paula? I see some public here, which is great. Anybody want to make a comment at this point? All right, then I guess we'll move on to item 5, reports. And that brings us to Michael with an update on CSEA negotiations.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I can share that I met with our CSEA negotiating team and the regional representative. We had some good and productive conversation about the eventual transition to hybrid learning. We discussed some of the more complex issues that will arise from the eventual transition. Ultimately, we decided that our original COVID-19 MOU was substantial enough to cover the issues we were discussing. We did not require an additional MOU or to make additions to the MOU that was in place. Though the door is always open for us to sit down if issues arise that we've not foreseen. We also discussed the 2020-21 contract negotiations. I do anticipate being able to bring back our initial proposals to Sunshine in December, and that we will begin negotiating shortly thereafter. And I just want to add how fortunate we are to have such a positive working relationship with CSEA, and I'm very much looking forward to productive negotiations this school year.
Great, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Michael? Okay then, so our next report is from the superintendent on the proposed revised timeline for the transition to the blended learning model. Erin?
Oops, sorry, President Elkishin was having internet issues at her previous location, so she was driving to try to get better internet service. So I anticipate she'll be joining us sometime soon. So as you are all aware, our district did not open for in-person learning at the same time as the other Napa County school districts, both private and public, due to the significant number of COVID-19 cases that were present in our community during the months of both September and October. So since that time, with the assistance of public health, we've been monitoring the COVID-19 cases in our community on a weekly basis, and sometimes a bi-weekly basis. Because the case counts had been declining steadily the past few weeks, I reported at our board meeting on November 2nd that we would set a tentative date for transitioning to a hybrid model on November 30th. So in anticipation of that, our school facilities have been thoroughly prepared for the safe return of our students. Our COVID-19 protocols have been developed and implemented for those kids, and we've brought them on campus, and our schools have designed their hybrid learning schedules. Unfortunately, however, the rate of COVID-19 cases has recently showed a significant increase, not only in Calistoga, but now throughout Napa County. So Dr. Reluccio reported to the Board of Supervisors early this week that Napa County's current COVID-19 cases have actually been in the purple tier the past 2 weeks, but the state lags a week behind with their data reporting. So we haven't officially been moved into a stricter tier yet. And it was unknown at the last meeting I had whether or not the state moves you just one tier at a time, or if we would actually be moved for the full 2 tiers. So going from orange, skipping red, and going straight into purple, or if they will put us into red and then purple next after that, with a week's lag in between. So due to my concern about the rising positive cases again and safety, that's our primary responsibility, to keep both our students and our staff safe. I'm recommending that our district again postpone the transition to a hybrid learning model, and this time, just given all the reports that we're getting from public health, not just at the local level, but also at the state level, that we postpone until after the winter break and after the holiday season. And then depending on the status of the pandemic at that time, that we reevaluate again to see whether or not it's safe to come back to hybrid learning. So I told you at our last board meeting that I'm very impressed with the quality of instruction that I've been observing in our virtual classrooms. And I think our entire staff remains committed to providing a robust virtual learning program. I will tell you that not every single student is thriving in that model, however. So the principals have also been discussing how to support those students who need the extra assistance. So if we do not transition to hybrid, we will still continue to conduct our in-person assessments. We've been doing special education assessments and MAP assessments, and then also conducting one-to-one or small group instruction for those kids who need additional academic support, including our students with disabilities. So the ACE program is fortunately considering an expansion of their current services to meet the needs of our disengaged junior, senior high school students. They're hopeful that maybe they could double that program. Right now they have 12 kids in it. And then I've had lots of conversation lately with the Boys and Girls Club and Trent Yaconelli, their CEO. And he said that they are also planning to expand their program to assist more of our elementary school students during their virtual learning lessons. So the number he gave me was significant, but I'm not able to share that yet, but it would serve a lot of our students as well. So lastly, we know that virtual learning is difficult for some of our students' families, so our district has partnered with the Napa Valley Adult Ed program to begin a technology support for parents sequence of courses, and they're going to be designed specifically for the parents of our CGSD students. So the instructor is going to conduct a survey at our DLAC meeting on Wednesday night to determine what specific technology skills our families need to support their children's learning. And then they will begin the sequence of courses after the Thanksgiving break. So they're going to first do one-to-one tutoring, and then the courses will be designed to be 1 to 10. So there'll be 10 participants in it. And then they will finish that course and then begin a new one after that. I got to meet the instructor. The classes will be strictly in Spanish. He is a former K-6 teacher, and he taught technology. He's bilingual and he's very engaging. So I think parents will enjoy the classes. So these decisions are extremely difficult to make. There is no perfect solution to educating kids in a pandemic, but again, I believe our primary responsibility has to be keeping our staff and our students safe. I'm grateful for the partnership that we have with our Wildcat families, and I look forward to obviously having all of our students and actually all of our staff back eventually. I don't know if you have any questions for me. I've got the principals here too. They can answer any questions that you might have.
So if we go back, we're going to go back after Thanksgiving, and that's not going to work. So we're going to go back after Christmas. So it really would only have been, what, a few weeks or 2 weeks, wouldn't it have been, to have been back in hybrid model?
No, it would have been, what, 4 weeks, Jeff?
4 weeks?
A week at the end of November and then 3 in December.
Yeah, okay. All right, so, yeah, well.
And I'll tell you, one of the things right now that districts that have opened are struggling with is staffing. Because when a staff member shows symptoms, or one of their own children shows symptoms, we have very strict guidelines, obviously, to keep them safe. So they're not just out for 1 or 2 days, they can be out for a 10 or 14-day period. So the struggle is, where do you find substitutes? We have a shortage of substitutes in a normal year, and now people are very reluctant to substitute because one, they are afraid of getting sick, and second, you're teaching in a virtual learning environment, and our teachers could attest to that is not easy, and it takes a lot of training. So there's not a big sub pool, so that's also a big challenge. So some of the districts are struggling right now. It's a very tenable situation, trying to balance that.
Any other questions from anyone? And I see that Julie has joined us, so I'm going to pass the virtual gavel over to her.
No, I was thinking, I think on your way out, you should just keep on with this meeting. You feel comfortable?
Thank you, Julie, but I don't think I'm supposed to do that.
Oh, all right. I'm the president. Doesn't it matter what I think? All right, we'll keep going. All right, so now moving on to consent agenda 6.1. So, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to read this out of my reading glasses. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff requests specific items to be removed from the consent agenda. So, nobody has any items? No? Okay, great. Then I'm just looking for a motion to approve consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Great. All in favor? Everybody remember, unmute.
All right.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay. That's roll call vote. So President Elkishan, aye. Clerk Reed?
Aye.
Trustee Lopez is absent. Trustee Maxfield?
Aye.
And Trustee.
Aye.
Great. So 7.1 action items. So the protocol for action items includes staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there's a 3-minute time limit. So we'll start out with 7.2 Memorandum of Understanding with CAT, California Teachers Association. So I'll toss it to Michael.
Yeah, I can share that after recent negotiations with CAT, we have our revised COVID MOU for board approval. The updated MOU has several new additions that apply to hybrid learning. I'll say we certainly benefited from having worked hard on a robust agreement in the fall on the original MOU. I think this really benefited us this time around, and there were just less issues to resolve. But we did take some time to talk through transition to hybrid. It's something that is, it still requires quite a bit of thought and problem solving. I do want to thank everyone that was at the table for their collaborative spirit, as well as the considerable amount of time it takes at the table and then away from the table preparing. And we have a good part of the group here tonight, and for Kathy and Patty, Aaron, Nicole, Maureen, I want to personally thank you for your good work. And I think now can be a very difficult time to negotiate. There's just so much happening in the world around us. Whether it's what's happening in school or the stresses we face outside of school, and it really does take strong and good leadership and a true collaborative spirit to make it work. So thank you to each of you for your good work to bring this to the table today. And with that, we request approval for the updated MOU.
Great, so just going to see if anybody has any questions. No, then I'm just looking for a motion to go ahead and recommend the MOU as proposed by CAP.
So moved.
Matt,
Second.
Jeff, great, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you, Michael, for the hard work on that and everybody involved. So then that just moves us on to closing items. So no need to reconvene to close session. And we are looking for the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Matt seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Great, thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for everybody's hard work.
Yep,
Thank you
very
all.
much.